call, please. Are we on? We're video still?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Andy Schaefer,
Here.
Andy Key,
Here.
Trey Roby, Luke Gear,
Present.
Tyson Hacking,
Here.
Matt Belgren, Lisa Granger. Here.
Matt was here somewhere.
Yeah.
He's right there.
Still here.
Right there.
Say aye, Matt. Aye. Tyson, will you lead us in the invocation, please?
Absolutely. Our dearest kind Heavenly Father, we're so very grateful for this day. We're grateful for the opportunities that we have in this wonderful community. We're grateful for the friends and camaraderie that we have here. And we ask you to bless us that we can grow and strengthen this community and help those in need. We're grateful, Heavenly Father, for all that thou hast done for us, and we are grateful for our armed service personnel that sacrifice so much. I ask thee to bless them. We love thee and say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Lisa, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You got it, bud. Sit wherever you want. You don't have to sit so far away from me.
He didn't tell me that.
Item 5, minutes of the meeting. Discussion and action to approve the minutes of the July 23rd, 2019 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the July 23rd meeting.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Tyson, second by Alyssa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Petitions and public input. Lisa, is there changes to the agenda?
No.
We don't have any public hearings, committee and board meetings? I don't think we've had the HR meeting, right?
We
with
have
the
not since our last meeting.
Okay. Reports from council? Supervisor report. Ty.
Good evening. So the Rangeley Police Department had a busy month last month. We took a part, participated in a lot of different events. First thing we did is we hired Levon Block, who's this gentleman here who's going to introduce himself here shortly, to fill our vacant patrol position. We are still looking to fill our lieutenant position, and that position stays open at this time. Some of the things that we did this last month is we held a Narcan training for the entire town of Rangeley. And the Rangeley Police Department is now carrying Narcan as an agency. On that note, it was such a successful thing that we're bringing Narcan training to the community again, and that'll be on the 26th of August up at the CNCC. There was a high demand for it, and we're bringing that back to the community. In the month of July, we had the sexually violent predator meeting here in Rangeley. I can tell you at this time that individual has moved out of the area and is no longer an issue for us. We also assisted with the New Eden's 5K color run. I attended a required DRE SFST instructor training in Durango. We also assisted with the senior picnic, which is a yearly thing. We also assisted with the day of caring for traffic control for the town of Rangeley, and we also did the same for the road rally parade that was held downtown. Something else I was asked to mention by Lisa, the town manager, is I recently went to a legal update informing us of laws that are changing, and one that is very concerning to us is as of March of next year, House Bill 1263 drops possession of Schedule 1 and 2 drugs under 4 grams to a misdemeanor. They go from a felony to a misdemeanor. To put that into context, a DUI is just a misdemeanor, and this was a drug class 4 felony, and if you have less than 4 grams, the state of Colorado has said that is a health issue and not a crime. So they recommend that we can charge you with a drug misdemeanor, but they recommend that we just issue a citation instead of taking people to jail for less than 4 grams. And I don't know if you guys understand how much 4 grams is a considerable amount. This doesn't affect the ability to change for or charge for distribution. It just means that you can carry up to 4 grams of meth, heroin, ecstasy in your pocket and basically get a ticket and be sent on your way. It also changes drug paraphernalia. Basically, is something we can no longer charge for. If somebody has a pipe full of methamphetamine, that we can't even charge that anymore as of next year. So knowing that we have a lot of issues coming up, we're going to start planning accordingly to see what we're going to do. We'll work with the district attorney's office to figure out how we're going to handle cases from here on out. It's just concerning. These are lobbyists from the other side of the mountain making decisions that's going to affect us all. And I don't know anybody who's truly on board with making drug possession just a misdemeanor. That's all I had. Do you have any questions for me before I have Vaughn come up and introduce himself?
So one of the things that's kind of been out in the air for quite a while is this Lexapol. And for the people that don't know what's going on with that, that's the policy and procedures that our police department is updating. There's a big major thing with it, and it gives them ongoing training as the guys actually in day-to-day things. So can you give us an update where you're at with the Lexapol, adopting the Lexapol for the Rangeley Police Department?
So one of the first things I did when I took on this position in December is I implemented Lexapol. So it is a policy that is in place, but Lexapol is kind of like a living document. It's always changing and updating, following the current trends in law enforcement. So all the new officers have only been trained and been under the Lexapol policy. That is something that, as time allows, I need to go in and make some revisions to. There are some things that were outdated, but this is a constant, like I said, a living document. We're always going to be updating. Every agency that uses Lexapol is always updating. Lexapol sends out their own updates, and each agency gets a chance to modify it to what they need. But we have been operating under Lexapol since December.
And then there's daily trainings that go along with that, with the guys that they have to sign off on. Is that part of it also?
That is a function that you can choose to use, and as soon as we get everybody in the department 100% through all the policies, because it's quite lengthy, it covers almost anything you can think of. Everyone has to be through it, and then you can do what's called daily training bulletins that will require them to refresh their mind on random policies to make sure that they stay up to date with it. And that is something we will be utilizing.
And when do you think that will be?
I'm hoping with Officer Block up and running, which will give me more time for admin responsibilities, I'll be able to get that done before the end of the year.
Okay. Thanks, Ty.
The only thing I was going to say you left out under your stuff was the National Night Out that you guys put on. I thought you guys did a really nice job. There was a lot of turnout with it. So I commend you for that and appreciate you guys doing that for the community.
Thank you. I was just going to mention that on the next one. Just trying to save the good stuff and spread it around.
Oh, sorry.
But thank you. So I'll have Officer Block come introduce himself real quick.
Hello, folks. Those of you who don't know me, LaVon Block. If you do know me, it's Vaughn. So feel free to call me Vaughn anytime you see me. Let's see. I moved over here from Longmont just recently. I was with the Adams County Sheriff's Department, the jail division. Worked there as a detention specialist, so I gained a little bit of corrections experience, which I think will be, a bit useful here, knowing that we do have holding cells and kind of some of those policies and things like that. So I plan on helping Ty, with those types of things. Previous to that, I was with the Rio Blanco County Sheriff's Office here in Rangeley for 5 years. So that's where I know a lot of you from. And then I bring right around 10 years patrol experience to the department. So, I'm hoping to be an asset for the department and really help Chief out and the town in general. Big believer in community policing. I think that's a great thing. I'm really happy to see that the department's moving that direction. The National Night Out was awesome. I had a great time, and I think we all did, honestly. It was great to see the kids and, everybody smiling and being real happy to be there. So, I hope to be able to help, forward that, further on with the department. Other than that, I do hold various advanced certifications, too, that are going to be helpful for the department. One of the big things that I touch on is, I'm a level 1 accident investigator, so if we have any crashes in town, I'm quite comfortable handling those and taking care of those. So, that'll be a good thing for the municipality here. Just thrilled and honored to be here. I was real happy to accept the position when it was offered to me. I like the small town life and was very excited to be back here. I absolutely hated living in Denver. So, it's great. In my free time, I like to cook. I like to barbecue. So, you see me out in the backyard barbecuing, feel free to stop by. Spend as much time outdoors as I can. I also draw. So, I like the area for landscapes and things like that. So you might see me out and about, sitting down and sketching some of the rock formations or whatnot. And fishing, hiking, and just kind of being out and exploring. So do you folks have any questions for me?
Welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I do have a question. How
Yes,
long
ma'am.
before you're on your own, since you've come with all this experience?
What we're waiting to do is the middle of next month. I have to go and I have to do what's a challenge to the post-test because I did lapse. My post-certification lapsed. Currently, I'm basically in a ride-along status with the chief and doing policy, procedure, things like that. Once I challenge the test, which is a one-day test out, so it's going to be a very long day for me. But as soon as that's done, I'll get my notification right there and then whether or not everything's good, and then be right back over here. And my understanding is probably the next day they're going to say, "Here's your keys, and see you later, and go do something." So, I'm working diligently right now, and then studying what I need to study and doing what I got to do to make sure that that's a smooth, transfer. So.
We're excited.
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, it's great.
Thank you.
Great to talk to everybody again. And thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Ty, was that it? Lisa.
They were saving a national night out for me. I have to have something to talk about. So it was a huge success. I was sad that we had the crash on Douglas, so we couldn't have the mayor present. But I want to thank both Matt and Andy and Luke. Obviously, got to get arrested by the state patrol. That was a highlight for the night.
That was nice.
Or looked like he was, I should say.
No
Anyway, we had
handcuffs
a
or
really
involved.
great, and Elisa took pictures, so that was awesome, and they were great pictures. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We had a really great turnout. State Patrol showed up, the Rangeley Volunteer Fire Department, Rangeley District Hospital EMS. We had the snow cone people there. Connie and Amaret did a great job of help organizing. It couldn't have turned out better, so we just want to thank the community for coming out and the police department for putting that event on. I thought it turned out really great. We also had the Colorado Preservation American Youth Summit come into town, and we met with them, I believe it was Thursday night at the museum, and just talked about Rangeley. They had me do the history. I don't know if that means I'm becoming part of history now, but it was a really fun group of kids. They were very inquisitive. They had to learn things on it, so it wasn't just them showing up and looking at things. They were doing a learning tour, so it was children from 7th grade to freshmen and sophomores in college, so it was a really wide variety of kids. And then we also had, they kind of wrapped up at the college and had state representatives there, and they just talked about everything they saw and learned, and they were really thrilled to, go into Dinosaur National Monument, not just the quarry. So it was really interesting to hear about their experiences and just what our youth think about our area. They're really excited to come back next year, so hopefully we'll get to do that again. I have in front of you too the White River signage update. So Luke Smith, he's the park ranger with BLM at the White River Field Office. He went through and they designated certain areas all along the White River from the Kenny Reservoir clear to the Utah state line where public lands are available for people that want to boat or do anything down the White River, so where they know they can take in or get out. And they installed over 40 signages, and they have 7 or so still to be accessed, but there's maps in there that show all of the signage all the way down, and the very last map is all of the signs that were installed all along the White River, so you know if it's private or public land, and so that you know where to get in or out of the White River. I thought that was a pretty cool way for them to, try and get some people along the river and start using that for recreation. And Jocelyn's going to try and help them with the last few that they have. So that's part of our Blueprint 2.0 initiative. So I think that's a really good way to get maybe more people on the river. I attended a state revolving fund workshop in Craig. Obviously, we've already utilized that with our water treatment plant, but it's always good to go and meet with any of the people at the state level that administer those programs, because they're a lot more willing to work with you once they kind of know you, rather than just a face or a voice on the phone. They gave a really great presentation, and I'm sure we'll probably have to, look into funds from the state. Hopefully not loans, but if we do, that's a really good program. I also put in there, and we'll also keep this out for everybody, but Alyssa from Michael Bennett's office will be here on the 20th, and you can make appointments or you can just drop in. She said she would keep time for that too, to just stop in and tell them what you think about what's going on and anything that you'd like to convey to the senator. So that's open to the public. It'll be in the conference room from, I believe, 3 to 7. And she also has her phone number on here. We'll post that on Facebook and make sure everybody can see that. House Bill 19-1087 is asking or requiring us to also post all of our meetings electronically on our website, and so I'm going to start doing that. And also for anytime we have a quorum that we have to post for committee meetings, I'll start doing that as well. But we'll also continue to post on our 2 meeting places that we have, designated each year. And Ty already talked about the Narcan training, but I think that'd be a great thing to go to if you haven't. Most of the town employees attended that, and it was very, very informative. So, do you guys have any more questions or anything else you'd like to add?
Will you give us a quick update on the marketing?
Yes, I had that on there, and I went right over it. So we have we did telephone interviews about a week ago, Maribel and I, and we've narrowed that down to 2 people. I'm not going to announce who they are because obviously they still have jobs. I don't want to. And I'm working on setting up interviews in hopefully the next 2 or 3 weeks. And I would like to get other people involved in those to give me and the council their perceptions of them. They're not going to be making that decision, but I think it's important that the whole community have some part in meeting those people and giving us their perceptions of what they would like to see in that position. So as soon as I have that, I will try and move forward with getting at least the Human Resource Council or committee involved, and then also like those panels of people to also do those interviews as well.
Any other questions for Lisa? Thank you, Lisa. Item 13, item A, Discussion action to approve a donation to the Rangeley Food Bank in the amount of $500. Would the representative from the food bank come up?
Good evening, everybody. Not used to this, so I might be a little nervous here, but just looking for a little.
State your name, please.
Christine Brassfield.
Okay, thank you.
And just looking for a little clarification. I'm not sure if everybody on the board's aware of the process that we actually went through to get our grant, or if we're even going to get it. I think it was some information was left out of the packet, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
The budget was, but I was going to be present with the budget and they were asking for your action.
Well, I know, but I mean, I think a lot of question.
Intentionally, Chris, it wasn't, but there was other questions that.
Right, but I think a lot of questions could have been answered with that, with our bills.
I apologize for that. It was not intentional and I don't believe that will hold up the council's decision.
No, okay, I just want to make sure. And, you know, as far as at the last meeting, I was not present. Another question that came arise, if we have $6,000 in our checking, why are we looking for more funds? If you grocery shop, $6,000 is not a lot of money. We just had our first semi-load this summer. It was $4,000. Yeah, we try to keep $6,000 in our checking to keep it going. We're not trying to, you know, we're not skimming. Yeah, we go out for grants. We really bust our butt to keep it that way. Another assumption that I kind of take is, do I take food from the food pantry? Our volunteers take food. I do not take food. Mr. Cushman has been there. Others have been there. I have never taken anything. When we first opened and I wasn't even on the board, yeah, I took dog treats for my dog, dog bones. And I believe Renee was there for that. So, and then the other thing was the assumption that money's missing or could be missing. I've ran the food bank for about 8 years right now. 2 checks have come out of the checking. Electric bill and the food bank of the Rockies. Everything else is covered by volunteers. We have a 2-signature process. The bank doesn't monitor 2 checking, but our process requires it through state requirements.
I'm just going to pause you for a second, if you don't mind. I don't know where you got that there was missing monies. If you're looking at me when I said that, I asked if there was a 2-signature requirement and was told they didn't know. So if there is, that's great. That's what I wanted to know.
Right, but it said
no, there was no other stuff going on there. So I don't know why you're looking directly at me when you say that, like I was asking a question, assuming you were taking money. That is not the case. I was just strictly asking, is there 2 signatures on there? So
are we recording tonight? Is this live by any chance? Yep. Because it's live on the last meeting, so I encourage you to go recheck that.
Yeah.
And then, so I feel that that's the reason I haven't been coming, is because it doesn't do me no good. And he even stated, there's animal, he can feel the tension. I agree. Mm-hmm. How do we prevent it? He even said, you know, lawn mowing, you know, which is a better deal. We pay for our food 10 cents on the pound. They got to buy theirs new. Which is better here? Does it make sense? Let's support, or, you know, somebody that pays full price for food when we can get it for a reduced amount.
Well, let me just, I might be speaking out of context a little bit, maybe, but I'm going to go ahead and say, like, I think you're assuming this board is against you in some way, and I don't think that's the case. I think we were just trying to have questions answered. If you can answer those, I don't think we have any issue moving forward.
Well, I just feel that.
I understand, because it's very clear in the way you're presenting to us that you think we're against you in some way, and that's not the case. We just want to have questions answered.
I understand that.
So I guess I'm not clear on why the aggressive nature towards us. Like, just answer the questions and we move forward. That's all.
Right. Well, the aggressive nature comes in when I first submitted the application. I was told, or the letter, to Lisa, oh, you got to do an application. Oh, you got to do this. Everybody else that comes in, hey, we got a letter and a flyer. We did an application.
That wasn't true, Chris. When you first emailed me the budget, I just asked if you were going to submit anything else, and you said Mr. Cushman was going to come in. And I'm being honest with you, I don't have anything against the Rangeley Food Bank either. I don't understand the aggressive nature of your emails. I asked you to call me, you ignored me. So I am fine with everything you submitted. I really think the council is willing to support any initiative. I have no part in questioning anything that you have done.
Well, I know that.
And the part about whether you turn in an application, the board has chosen to fund these under the general fund and not the fund for public giving because of the lack of funds we have in there. It has nothing to do with the food bank or the rodeo club or anybody. They've been funding everything out of the general fund. There is nothing illegal or inappropriate with how they're funding it, and I never intended for you to think that there was.
Well, and I asked you what time the meeting was, and it took you a week to tell me. That, you know, I said, what, do we come in under public input, or do we do this, or do we do that? And,
Chris,
you know.
so I think this is something that could have been taken care of with Lisa. Lisa's very willing to work things out. And I feel like when this, I've read through all the emails, and at some point, this has got to be a face-to-face deal. Lisa
That's right, that's why I'm here.
to take care of it with Lisa face-to-face on your guys' discrepancy. This is not where this discrepancy needs to go right now. And I'm
You
just
allowed
telling
it at the last meeting.
And I'm just telling you right now, if you were to step up to my door and ask me for $500 without the way that you're acting, I wouldn't do it.
Well, this is the treatment. I treat
not
others
getting-
how you want to be treated.
Chris, I've not treated you anyway. I'm just saying,
You know.
you're asking us for $500, and yet you're treating our town manager like this instead of coming down and talking to her face to face. That's the problem that I have.
There's no fault. I mean, on the agenda, it said new business, and we were before them. I think it shows a little favoritism to me. It just does.
I don't feel that.
Well, Mr. Cushman was here. I just wanted to explain. If you have any questions for me, otherwise I will leave the application which we initially had. Hopefully we answered all your questions. And thank you for your time.
Since you're here, I have a few more. You answered the one about the checks. That was one of the things I was most concerned about because I don't think any public money should be associated with single check systems. That there's no check on or any way to make sure. It has nothing to do with you at all. I don't think any taxpayer money should be addressed with single checks where there's no sort of oversight. So I want to clarify that with you. That was never an attack at you or anything like that because honestly I don't know you that well and wouldn't know anything about how you operate or do anything. So I want to clarify that. And then on your budget that you submitted to us, I'm trying to find it here. So it had, you got a $10,000 donation in January. What was that, a food donation or was that cash? What was that?
That was both, and actually that's just our budget. It's not the actuals. So,
okay.
You know, we work on a budget. It's not guaranteed that we're going to get that. But yeah, we work, it's a lot of donation. We get a lot of food donations. Right now our freezers are full again.
So that you're basing that on food
Right.
and money altogether.
Because we have to hold both of them when we report to the state. And another thing I do want to clarify is we are regulated. We get audited by the state. They come up and check our facility every year.
Right, and so these are questions that could have been answered last week, or the last meeting. So that's why we're glad you're here now answering them. We just want to have them answered. That's all it comes down to, is a board. I'm speaking for everybody, and I shouldn't, but I think that's where we all sit. So that answers my question.
I have a question. You mentioned that you only write 2 checks per month. What were those again? A light bill or the utilities? Or
Have you abstained, or are you allowed to influence the others with your comments?
I haven't abstained yet. I'm not voting on anything.
I know,
I'm just
but
asking you a question.
It's 2 checks. It's one to Moon Lake Electric, and I think it says on the other, it is the Rangeley Food Bank of the Rockies, or not Rangeley, Food Bank of the Rockies out of Palisade.
Okay. So that's where the $4,000 semi-truck load of food was?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, like I said, Mr. Cushman, I sure would like to talk as well. I just wanted to see what the animosity and why. I just didn't understand why. Felt I was attacked.
I'd like to say something. I feel like you saw into that what you wanted to see. There was no animosity. We were asking questions, and you answered mine. I wanted to know, and I would ask anybody who had $6,000 in their pocket if they were asking for more money. I'd want to know why.
Do you think that's a lot of money?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like,
Okay.
but I understand.
But my point is, you're asking for money when you're sitting on $6,000. I just want to know why. And you answered my question tonight, but there was nobody
Perfect.
to answer it last time.
Perfect. Okay, thank
So
you for your time.
I'll go ahead and make. Oh,
Hold on a second. Did we have any other input on this?
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Suzanne Tornell. I live at White River Village. The last time I came before you, I was thanking you for our beautiful garden, which is, you wouldn't even recognize it. But I do want to say this. I'm only going to speak on what I've witnessed, what I've been involved with. I'm not going to go by hearsay. There is assumptions and allegations that the food bank, Rangeley Food Bank, is not being truthful, and that is from the last meeting. But I'm here to tell you, I worked approximately 9 months at the food bank, and I went in with an open mind to see how it was actually being run. I've done these volunteer works before in Nevada, where I lived for 42 years. I've sat on many boards. My first question was money, as should be. But I'm here to tell you that during my volunteer time at the food bank, we were allowed as volunteers to take food, but we were only allowed what everybody else got. Those coming in, seeking assistance, and sometimes I would get a chicken or I'd get 2 cans of vegetables. But you have to sign your name, you have to provide your phone number, and prior to taking even just 1 can out, you have to fill out an application. Chris, I've known for about 1.5 years, and I can tell you this, I've gone with her several times to pick up loads. We've gone to Meeker, we've gone to Palisades. She spends her own gas money, as should be. It's all volunteer work. But I have never witnessed her abuse of any of the food at the food bank. In fact, just last week, a man called and said that his mother and his brother and him were living in a small camper, and they were very hungry. She went to the food bank. I was with her. She boxed up a box for this gentleman, and while we were there, a guy stops in with his child and said, "Are you guys open? We need some food." We weren't open, but she went ahead and let him take a box out. She delivered the box to the man who had called in need. There's no air conditioning in that building. There is no heating in that building. Chris, I can tell you this from my own knowledge, has done as much as any person could do, and she is on the up and up. I know there's a past history there, but we're not going to go there because it doesn't matter. The food bank and serving the community, whether it be Dinosaur or people coming through from California that are desperate and need food, everything is accounted for. She received the highest award you could get for cleanliness, organization, supplies, and she asked that person at the time if she was allowed to give the volunteers food. And they said yes, of course. But it's not like the volunteers go in there and open the freezer and say, oh, there's a steak, I'm going to take the steak. They get just what everybody else gets. And that's all I wanted to say. And I thank you for your time. And hopefully the mood calms down. You guys have a good evening.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming up and talking to us like that.
Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to apologize to the board for not knowing what I was doing last week or last time. I found out how many people have to sign a check. I also found out something on why we feed dinosaurs. We're a National Food Bank of the Rockies. We are entitled to feed anybody that comes into town, whether they're from Pueblo, Durango, or what, that are hungry. And necessary, if we're not open, we'll come down and get a box of food and take it to somebody. We do have a problem with people that return a lot, like more than twice a month. It's kind of hard to look at somebody and tell them they can't have food. But like you said, we go to Meeker, we go to Palisades, use our own gas, our own vehicles, our own trailers to bring the food back. And all the food that we get is secondhand. I don't mean it's bad, but it's been set out in a manager special, marked down, outdated. Some of the stuff is really outdated. We've been doing come and go for quite a while. They donate quite a bit. And we've had some people getting sick, so we're arranging a program where we can throw it out every other food bank, throw their stuff away. So any other questions that we had, we talked about why Dinosaur does have a food bank behind the fire department. It's not open. It's got a number on the door. If you need food, they'll come and give it to you.
I'm sorry. I have a real quick question. The cans
They're doing it again.
Sorry.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. The cans that you said are outdated, are you required to pay for those, or is that a donation?
What?
The cans that you said are outdated, or?
Well, it's all, yeah, most of it's out. We get the leftovers from Meeker when they have theirs, and then we go to Palisades, we pay for all that stuff. Okay. But like I say, the stuff we do buy is marked the manager special, stuff that they won't use. We also get donations from Come and Go, the grocery store, and Loaf and Jug. It's all outdated. Sometimes, they want to give you a gallon of milk that's 3 days out.
Right.
You don't know whether you should take it and give it to somebody, hope they don't get sick or what. There's a lot of people in town. And the thing that I'm trying to get across when I started this, people think you have to be on food stamps. People think that if you go to the food bank, somebody's going to look down on you. You're going to be a lower crust. Nobody knows who does what where. We don't extrapolate on that. We just feed you and off you go. And hopefully it's good.
What's a good thing?
Okay. I got 75 tons of rice and 75 tons of beans. Anybody want any?
That's a lot of beans.
I can't get rid of it. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate the clarity, coming and giving us clarity. One other question for you: Have you ever done like a in previous communities that I've lived in? They do like a scouting for food. They use the local scouts to go door to door and gather food.
But we're going to have a list now that comes out
Okay.
before September 5th of all the donations from last year. I have gone to Humes and
Okay.
asking if somebody will donate a beef, will he cut it up for free? Because if you donate a beef and they say, okay, now give me $400 to cut it up and wrap it for the food bank. So we've asked for donations of steers and stuff.
Okay.
And some people just come and drop stuff off and don't want to be known. It's anonymous.
Okay.
Like she said, it's a little thin shed. No, you can't plug your fans in because they got 4 freezers and 2 refrigerators running. So
Okay.
it's hot. Okay, thank you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I think what you guys are doing is a great deal. I also the food bank that Connie's opened up, I think that's a great deal. The biggest issue I have with this is the way we get talked to about small questions that we have. That upsets me, because you're biting the hand that feeds you, right?
Right.
And I understand, and I can look past that, because it's not about her versus us, right? The money that we're donating is for the people, right?
Right.
The only other problem I have is having $6,000 in there. And we have council meetings every the second and the fourth Tuesdays of the month. And I think at some point when your funds get down to that area, to that lower range, that's when I feel I get that warm and fuzzy feeling. Rather than when you guys have $6,000 in there. Like I said, the second and fourth Tuesdays are pretty quick if something comes up for you guys. That's where my warm and fuzzy comes in. Regardless of what went on here tonight, I still support what you guys are doing for the community.
Sure appreciate that. And I think there's some conflict between the two food banks, but it's not with us.
And it's okay. I mean, that's the way it is. We wish it couldn't happen, but it's too bad it is, and it is what it is, right? At the end of the day, you guys are doing something good for the community. Community, Pueblo, Colorado, whoever it may, I mean, you guys are doing something good, right?
Thank you very much.
That's all that matters.
We try real hard. We don't need the conflict. We just give out our food, thank everybody, and don't judge. It's hard not to judge, but we don't.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
On that note, I'm going to motion that we approve donation to the Rangeley Food Bank in the amount of $500.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made by Luke, second by Andy. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
I'll vote no. All right. Item 13B, Rangeley Community Resource Pantry Financials and Expenses. They're attached to our board packet. Is there any questions for Barb? Are you here for that?
If anybody's got a question, sure.
I thought they were really well put together.
That was just the additional information the board asked of them as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, boy. Old business, let's see, new business. 14A, discussion action to approve the July 2019 check register.
I'll make a motion to approve the July 2019 check register.
Second.
Motion by Andy Key, second by Tyson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 14B, discussion and action to approve a donation to the Rock and Bull Rodeo on August 13th, 2019 at 7 p.m. Who's the spokesman tonight? Girls?
Had to give them an opportunity. Jed Moore on behalf of Colorado Northwestern Community College Rodeo Team. It's hard to believe this is the 10th year already that we've been producing this event. Ever since its inception, Rock and Bull 1, there wasn't even a rodeo team. And any proceeds that have ever been garnered from this event always go to the Rodeo Team Foundation account to be used for national travel, scholarships, equipment, supplies. Aside from being a rodeo team fundraiser, it's a community event. We've named it Rangeley Rock and Bulls. It's not CNCC Rodeo. It's not Colorado Northwestern. It's the Rangeley Rock and Bulls. It's become a very large annual event every year. This year, in particular, with it being the 10th anniversary, I wanted to up the production. I wanted to make it a better show for the community. We've employed and are under contract with V6 Media, which is the Jumbotron, if you've ever been to events at Western Park. So we're going to have I believe it's 8 feet by 12 feet Jumbotron center stage over the event. A better spectator experience, and hopefully everybody enjoys it more. By doing that, if you guys saw the budget report that I turned in, the Jumbotron is not cheap. And, by doing that, we also kind of put at risk, some of the profit that we may make as the rodeo team. Currently within our budget with current sponsorships, we are at break even. I dropped off one of our sponsorship flyers in years past. Town of Rangeley has donated $1,000 consistently for us for our event, and we humbly request a donation for this event.
I'll just say I appreciate the breakdown you guys did on the expenses. That makes it a lot easier for us to see where it's all going. So thank you. Lisa, what are we looking like in the marketing budget right now?
I think we could still manage that sponsorship. I thought last year that we did 1,500, so.
I have a question. When we have the rodeo, or you have the rodeo, about how many people come to town for that?
As far as people that
out of town
that I track,
yeah.
We bring in approximately 30 contestants who usually always at least have 1 to 3 people with them. We bring in 10 bull teams. Each contractor usually comes with an additional 2 guys. 4 judges, 3 bullfighters, 2 secretaries, an arena crew of 7 people. So a rough estimate would be 200 people as far as the entertainment. As far as individuals in the stands that come from outside communities, I don't really have a way to track that, but I'm sure it's...
So these folks typically stay in our motels, eat at our restaurants and stuff like that while they're here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So they have an impact to our economy while they're here?
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I thought it was very entertaining last year, so.
Are you going to ride a bull again this year?
That's an interesting question.
You might want to consult with your physical therapist. Just
So do you think, Lisa, that we did 15 last year?
That's
Or
what I
Maribel?
believe was on it.
What are you guys' thoughts on doing the Gold Spur and possibly the Bull team? Do you have that one still available, Jed?
Yes, sir. I've got 1 more Gold Spur and a few bull teams.
Thoughts?
that sounds good.
Sound good to you guys? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'll make a motion that we become Gold Spur and Bull team sponsors in the total amount of $1,400.
I'd second that.
Motion's been made by Andy, second by Matt. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Men in the back, do you guys want to talk? Abstaining?
I have to.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Those of you that may or may not have attended our events or have, seen the Town of Rangeley symbol is on every bucking chute. The petroglyph Guardian is on our trophy belt buckles. We absolutely want to continue this event to grow and to continue to be a Rangeley event as much as it's a rodeo team event. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jed. It's awesome.
Was there any other discussion? Wyatt Payson?
Tim Weber. He's raising his.
He's just waving us off. He's a peanut gallery. Lisa, would you mind, this is just my opinion about getting the tickets and doing maybe town employees, or
I agree.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
are you guys okay with that? Okay, cool.
Tickets will probably be printed and delivered next week.
Okay, all right, that's good. Cool, thank you. Okay, item 15A, informational items. I think they're all in front of you. Elks Barbecue on August 15th. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We've talked about I think we've talked about everything else. Is there anything else that needs to be brought in front of the board? We'll call this.
In the back.
What's that? Weber? We'll be adjourned at 7:52. You should have came up during normal time. We're still here. We're listening. Huh?